Hey gang, John Bacarella here with your Lake St. Clair Fishing Report brought to you by Sportsmen's Direct. Well, that massive heat wave from last week is done, and pretty much the mayfly hatch is pretty much done, and I think most of you guys last week just stayed home because we didn't have a lot of reports from out there on the lake last week, but some of you guys are starting to get back out there again. So it's July 24th, Wednesday, middle of the week here, and the forecast for the next few days looks pretty darn good, although it's supposed to warm up again this weekend. But we're supposed to have light winds all the way up through the weekend. It's going to kind of be variable. It's going to be bopping around between south and west and a little bit of east thrown in there. But all in all, it looks like a pretty good forecast out there. So let's start out. Where are you going to go this week or this coming weekend if you want to catch fish? So if you want walleyes, I would head up to either Marine City or up by Port Huron and fish that deeper water early in the morning. Guys are doing pretty good on night crawler harnesses, either drifting or trolling. The night bite's been pretty good for the guys that are whipping. We even got some guys jigging at night. So the whipping at night, jigging at night, and the shore guys are getting some fish, but by and large, you know, that big run that we normally get is really slowed down a lot. But coming out here to the lake, you're still picking up fish out by the channel, and I know a lot of you guys like to run right out to the channel because that's a good marker, that's a good spot for you guys to associate with those marker buoys, 26 to 28, all up in through there. But honestly, the better numbers and the better quality fish are not coming right on the channel. Those fish are coming from those weed beds that are out in that 18 foot and deeper all the way out to the channel, or 18 foot on either side of the channel, so up into your low 20s. But those deep weed beds, when you find them, I think you're going to find the fish. Same thing goes when you head down there by the Detroit River. Coming out of the Detroit River, fish that deeper water coming out of the river all the way up to the St. Clair Lake, but you're going to want to find weed beds. These fish guys are really, really associating with structure now, especially when we had this, pretty calm weather and the water's cleaned up a lot. Those fish are down in those weeds, or you can run your inline crawler harnesses, inline sinkers with crawler harnesses on boards up above the weed tops, tipping the weed tops. Guys are getting them on bandits, running like 40, 50 back. Even guys that are not trolling boards are picking fish up out there, but they're crashing those weeds. You could even once you find those fish, you could even throw swim baits at them and do all kinds of other creative stuff like I've talked about before. But troll, find those weed beds, find those weed beds that are holding fish, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised out there in that deeper water. Now, smallies, with the warmer temperatures we've had, we're starting to get a lot more fish up into that St. Clair River area. For you guys that are fishing up in the St. Clair River, fish those current breaks. You want to pitch those baits right up in and let them drop it right back down in behind those current breaks. Now, those breaks aren't going to hold a lot of fish. You might only pick 1 or 2 fish up per break, but you're going to have fish holding up in those breaks. Out here on the lake, great numbers of smallies out there in the 16-foot range, out in front of Memorial Park area, out in front of the mile roads. Not out quite as deep. These aren't real big fish. There are a lot of 2-pounders and even smaller than that, but really good reports of really good numbers. One of our employees, Mike Pasco, was out there not long ago, and his wife and him did really good on smallies. I mean, they got crazy numbers, kind of like springtime numbers, and also picked up a few eyes and sheephead and all kinds of other miscellaneous critters, because when you find those fish, you're going to find a lot of fish in an area. That's what you're going to find on those weed beds. Same thing out there. You're looking for weeds. And there was quite a bit of weeds out there for him to fish. They fished a pretty big area and they caught fish all over the place out there. So that was around 16 foot. I don't expect those fish would have really moved any deeper. The water hasn't warmed up since then. Matter of fact, right now we're kind of holding steady for the last few days down in Belle Isle. Water temps at 74 degrees. So that water, I don't expect it to warm up. If anything, unless we get another big push of hot air, is probably going to stabilize now, and these fish are just going to lock into the summertime pattern. Now, perch up by the B marker, we've gotten some reports, and out by the channel. But again, the same thing for those perch. Find those weed beds, guys. When you find those deeper weed beds, and for the perch, I would be fishing 18 and deeper for those perch, 18, 19, 20 foot out there, and you shouldn't have trouble finding that depth of water with the water as high as it is. And you're going to find perch out in those weed beds. You might not find them on every weed bed. You're going to have to move around, just like for the walleyes, but when you find them, you're going to find a little bit of everything out there. You're probably going to find pumpkin seeds mixed in. You'll have sheephead, and you'll probably have smallies. You'll have the full gamut, and you'll probably pick some walleyes up too, even while you're perch fishing out there. Like I said, the mayfly hatch is pretty much done. We're going to have some sporadic hatches here on and off. We'll probably get some caddis hatches going here again. But for you guys that are, you know, quit fishing basically during the mayfly hatch, it's time to come back out of hibernation and get back out there and get at it, because the mayfly hatch is pretty much done. So you don't have to worry about those fish being stuffed full of mayflies anymore. At least as of right now, there's no more hatches going on out there. Muskie guys, I think, are still struggling. We're seeing some reports of some nice fish. However, you know, with the high water, things have changed around a lot. And, you know, you guys are just going to have to learn to fish these high water conditions, you know, and you're going to have to adapt. But they are getting some nice fish out there for the skis as well. And, you know, the guys they're running spankies and some body baits out there, and a lot of casters out there too, throwing Medusas and those Poseidons and so forth, and they're having good success on those as well. Trying to think if I got anything else for you guys. I know that I've gotten reports of a whole lot of sheephead in shallow. I know some of the folks have been using crayfish for the sheephead and just having a hoot catching those sheephead off ashore. And even the guys, I know they're a nuisance fish for you guys out in the boats, but they're kind of fun for these guys fishing from shore. They'll throw blade baits and fish crayfish and all kinds of other stuff. Those sheephead are kind of a crazy predator, and they can be really fun on light tackle. One other announcement I want to make. We just received in some new baits from Duo Realis. Okay, so these are the new Alpha series, 72, Alpha 72s. These are the new spin baits. So these baits weigh in at a ½ ounce. For you guys fishing out there for those smallies in that deeper water, I think you're really gonna love these things because the added weight, they're gonna drop a little bit faster. They're gonna hold a little bit better. You'll notice they got a wider profile on them as well. And so these Alpha 72s, I know are going to be a big hit for you guys out there that are fishing that deeper water and using your bait casters as well, because the heavier bait you can throw pretty easy on that bait caster. And fish them the same way. Fish them slow. They got that nice little shimmy going on, and we got all your favorite colors on these. So check them out next time you're in here. And we got to reload on all the other spy baits and jerk baits from Duo as well. With that, I got nothing else for you guys. It's going to cool off. The weather's going to be good. The winds are going to be good. There's a lot of fish out there. Mayfly hatch is pretty much done. So get out there and get on them. Hey, if you like this video content and you want to get updated as soon as the next video is out there, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon, and you'll get notified as soon as the next video is up.